Huddle Up Podcast. It is Monday, August the 7th, 2023. I am your host, Big Jim. This is the Observations with Big Jim, and I'm glad to be back with you for another episode as the month of August is underway, and the football season right around the corner. First preseason game is behind us, and we are well on our way towards the new college football season just around the corner. The NFL season not far behind it. Baseball heating up as well. But before I jump into my observations this week, I want to remind everyone to make sure you are subscribed to the Huddle Up Podcast Incorporated feed on all podcast platforms so you do not miss any of our bonus content, including the new FKC Fantasy Hour. And then we will also continue to put up my observations, the pitch, and one with EJ and more. The Huddle Up Podcast, where there's two more off-season episodes coming before we get back into our regularly scheduled season of content, starting live at the end of this month, and we're working our way through the football season. And you can also get us on all social media at Huddle Up Podcast, on Facebook, on Twitter, on TikTok, on YouTube, as well as our merchandise over at tpublic.com. And if you want to get anything, follow us on all of our social media. Hit the link tree there. You can also see the links in this episode notes. And we are glad to continue to bring you the content that we always do here on the Huddle Up Podcast Incorporated. So yeah, let's dive right into it now. My first observation this week is the Baltimore Orioles, and more on this team later. This is going to be kind of a two-part observation around the team from Charm City. But the Baltimore Orioles are on pace to do something that they haven't done since 1980. So never actually in my lifetime. I was born in 1985. The Orioles currently sit at 70-42, so they have 70 wins through 112 games, which is around a 60% winning percentage. So now they have 50 games remaining in the regular season, and in those 50 games, if they continue at the pace they are now, the Baltimore Orioles would have 100 wins. Now, back in the preseason, when I talked about the potential of this team, and I joined our friends over at the Dollar Dogs and Beer podcast, bing, I said the Orioles could win 90 games. And when I said that, and when I was talking to other people, and I think I even tweeted it out, I got people reacting to it and saying that they thought that I was being crazy, that the Baltimore Orioles could win 90 games this year. Well, the Orioles have to literally just win less than 50% of the games that they have remaining, and they will hit the 90 win mark, which they haven't done in a while as well. But the 100 win mark, and I'm not editing my prediction, and I'm not saying that they're going to hit the 100 win mark. That's not what I'm doing here. But I'm saying that they have the potential to, if they continue at the pace that they have been at throughout the first 112 games of the 2023 season. Just an incredible season for this team, and I'm loving what is happening with the team this year. But, and this brings me to my second observation for this show, the Orioles management and front office and ownership has been and continues to be an embarrassment, a problem for this team. And there's a situation that has really kind of has come to light today, confirmed by The Athletic. First, the story first broke by the Twitter account at Awful Announcing. This is from the Orioles and Tampa Bay Rays season finale on July 23rd. And after he made these comments, and I'm going to play them from that broadcast on the Masson Network. But Kevin Brown, the Orioles broadcaster on Masson, their home sports network, has been quote unquote. Well, and I can't even say quote unquote because it hasn't even been formally addressed by Masson or the Orioles, at least that I have seen. But he has been suspended indefinitely because of comments that he made during that broadcast. And I'm going to play the comments right now.
For the Orioles, Brandon Hyde has felt like this has been maybe the toughest ballpark to play in, but the Orioles have a chance to do something special today. They've already clinched at least a split in the series, winning 2 of the first 3, and they could pick up a series win behind Tyler Wells today. It's been a minute. The Orioles split a 2-gamer with the Rays in June. They had lost their last 15 series here at Tropicana Field. You have to go back to when our now colleague Brad Brock picked up the win in the series finale, June 25th, 2017, the last time the Orioles won a series here at St. Pete. Already got 3-2 at the Trop this year after winning 3 of 18 the previous 3 years combined. It is a stark difference, Ben, and it is not a bad Rays team. It's not like all of a sudden the Rays became slouches in the American League East. They've led this division every day, but now 2, and the Orioles once again are back alone in first place.
Yeah. So I had seen this tweet from Awful Announcing. Here's the clip of Kevin Brown's pregame comments on the Orioles' recent record against the Rays ahead of series finale on July 23rd. Sources tell Awful Announcing these comments led to Brown's current indefinite suspension from Orioles broadcasts. So I listened to that exact clip, that 1-minute clip that I just played, and I was like waiting for some sort of a slur, a bad word, a insensitive comment or something like that, because when you see a tweet from Awful Announcing, a lot of times they are exposing situations like that. And I listened to the clip and I'm like, man, maybe I missed it. So I went back. I probably listened to it like 3, 4, maybe 5 times before I really started clicking with me that he didn't say anything wrong. And the crazier part about it is when you're watching the clip, and you can find it. I quote retweeted it on my Twitter at Big Jim Sports. That the comments that he made, they were listed in the team's game notes, and they were on a graphic that was made and put on the screen while he's making these comments. So it's not like he went off script to point out the statistical fact. Like, he's not slandering the team that he's broadcasting for. He's pointing out the statistical fact that the Orioles have had trouble in Tampa Bay, right? And he does this from the game notes, and the network put the graphic on the screen. But he gets indefinitely suspended. And I have been embarrassed being an Orioles fan for years. The management, the ownership group of this team is awful. They have held this team back for decades. And now, when the Orioles are in the midst of their best season in a long time, a potential historic season in terms of how they can finish, where they can finish, potentially, I won't say possibly, but potentially pushing 100 wins, something that they have not done this century and in over 40 years. And not that I'm sitting here predicting that the Orioles are a World Series caliber team, but let's be honest, worse teams than this Orioles team have won the World Series. And a team that has not only been at or near the top of baseball in the American League all season it is not out of the realistic realm of possibility that this team has the potential to be a World Series team. Again, not saying they're going to do it, but saying that they are good enough to be in the conversation. They have now gone 75 straight series without being swept. They haven't been swept since May of last year. Every team in baseball this year has been swept at least one time, except for the Baltimore Orioles. The Orioles haven't been swept since before Adley Rutschman made his debut for the Orioles. So I have a big enough sample size to tell me that this team is good enough to be in the conversation. But, and that's what the conversation should be. When you have a team that has been as bad as the Orioles have been for so long, the conversation should be about this team being successful. But instead, it's about management suspending your broadcaster for literally reading factual game notes in a pregame broadcast to paint the picture. This is ridiculous. Kevin Brown should be reinstated immediately, and he should be getting an apology from the Orioles organization. Sports fans are roasting the Orioles tonight and have every right to. Other Major League Baseball teams' broadcasts are making fun of the Orioles in this situation, as they should be. It's unacceptable for this. I believe it was the Mets. I'm looking it up right now. Yeah, it was the Mets broadcast tonight that said, this is Gary Cohen saying, let me say just one thing to the Baltimore Orioles management. You draped yourself in humiliation when you fired John Miller. You're doing it again. If you don't want Kevin Brown, there's 29 other teams who do. It's absolutely pathetic. It is absolutely pathetic for what management is doing. For all the guy did was say something factual that was in the team's game notes. I shouldn't be embarrassed to be an Orioles fan this season, but here we are. My third observation this week is the college sports shakeup that we were already seeing move in place is beginning this season with BYU and Cincy and Houston and UCF coming to the Big 12, Oklahoma and Texas. We knew we're going to the SEC next year. Multiple teams joining the AAC this year. And now things are just going even crazier. Oregon, USC, UCLA, Washington joining the Big Ten next year. The Pac-12 will be down to the Pac-4 next year. Arizona State, Colorado, Oregon, USC, UCLA, Utah, and Washington are all leaving the Pac-12. We'll have more discussion and thoughts about this when we open up the college football preview show with Huddle Up Podcast at the end of this month. But it is getting crazy, and there's a lot of discourse. There's a lot of discussion about if the college sports and rivalries and things like that are being ruined. And in a way they are, but if you didn't think that the sport was going to continue to grow and move and do things like this, you were kidding yourself. You were kidding yourself. And I see, I want to say it was maybe somebody from Barstool that I saw get retweeted, but people who have been encouraging and I'm pro NIL deals, so this isn't a slight on it, but people have been pushing for NIL deals. People have been pushing for more money and licensing and marketing and this and that of college football and making it more of like the quote unquote NFL light, are now getting mad because it's the NFL light. Like, you be careful what you wish for. But yeah, it's a changing landscape. And as of right now, one of the more surprising things is there hasn't been announced movement that I've seen. Again, it's hard to keep track of these things, but that I've seen from the ACC. Now, I know there's some rumors about Florida State potentially moving to the Big Ten as well. You know, and meanwhile, I'm still sitting here as a Notre Dame fan going, doesn't affect me. Doesn't bother me. Ain't shaking my life up, at least right now. Again, time will tell. I've continued to say that in terms of Notre Dame's status, it's going to take college football leveraging itself against Notre Dame for Notre Dame to change their kind of policy and idea of being a football independent. Those remain to be seen. Fourth observation this week, the Cowboys need to make a deal with Zach Martin. Their left guard has been holding out because I guess he doesn't have guaranteed money on his deal this year, and is wanting a new contract, wanting to make sure he gets guaranteed money. And the team is not budging as of now. He's held out of training camp so far. And if there's a guy the Dallas Cowboys need on that offensive line, it's Zach Martin. He has been probably the most consistent Cowboys player since he joined that team. And I know he's, you know, in the later portion of his career, he's got less years left than he's played. But this is a guy you need, especially when you do have some more offensive talent. You are seemingly going to be transitioning to, hopefully, quote, knock on wood, hopefully more of a running team this year. You need Zach Martin. You need Zach Martin. So, Jerry, figure it out. Dak, talk to your boy. Big Mike McCarthy, figure it out. Talking Jerry's ear. I don't care who needs to budge, and I'm not. Find a middle ground here, because it seems like the Cowboys don't want to budge. It seems like Martin doesn't want to budge, but these two entities need to figure it out. My fifth observation this week. I am ready for the Sam Hartman era with the Fighting Irish Notre Dame. The transfer quarterback from Wake Forest is entering, you know, his first and only season with Notre Dame this year, and a lot of the reports out of fall camp as the team prepares for its week 1 matchup at the end of this month with Navy over in Dublin. There's a lot of buzz that Sam Hartman looks like the best Notre Dame quarterback in a long time, and that he has stepped into a leadership role with the team, that he has already formed the words used in the Blue and Gold Illustrated that I remember reading were a close-knit bond with his offense. And I'm not saying that Ian Book or Tyler Buckner or Drew Pine, you know, that these guys haven't had a tight bond with their team. But when you have a guy coming over and is new in that locker room, new in this team, it may not be the easiest thing to become a leader right away and grab that role right away. And by all accounts, it seems like he has. And you can make jokes all you want about the ACC. I make jokes about the ACC, but he set and broke many ACC records a year ago. So I am ready for this season to begin. I saw today in the meaningless coaches preseason poll, Notre Dame is ranked 13th. That's fine by me. I don't care. Preseason polls are completely pointless. They're completely pointless. And in some ways negatively impact the length of the season, but more on that at the end of this month when we preview the college football season. But yeah, I'm ready for this season to get going. I'm ready to see what this offense can do with a new quarterback and without Tommy Rees as the offensive coordinator. And lastly, my last observation this week is Tom Wilson, TW43, will be a Washington Capital for his career. It was announced on Friday that the forward signed a 7-year extension to keep him in Washington through the 2030-2031 season. This from the press release from Senior Vice President, General Manager of the Capitals, Brian McClellan. He said, Tom possesses all the intangibles needed to win in this league, and we are extremely pleased to sign him to a long-term contract, giving him the opportunity to finish his career in a Capitals uniform. Throughout his career, Tom has improved every facet of his game through his drive and competitiveness. We feel his work ethic and leadership qualities will be a tremendous asset to our organization for years to come. Wilson is 29 years old. He had 22 points last year in a shortened season coming off of an injury. That would be a 54-point pace over 82 games. During the 2021-2022 season, Tom Wilson set a career high in goals, assists, and points, power play points, ice time per game in 78 games played, and has really become a leader for this team, for this organization, and a guy that I truly believe will be the next captain of the Washington Capitals when Alexander Ovechkin retires. There was some extremely incorrect rumor that started coming about around NHL draft time that the Capitals were potentially looking at trading Wilson. The word out of Capitals camp, even from the word go when the rumors started to come out, was that they weren't looking to trade him. They weren't looking to move him at all, that they wanted to sign him long term. And Wilson and McClellan even admitted that the rumors that were never true, that in any way, shape, or form, helped accelerate getting the deal done before the season started. This is a guy I've loved. He started his career. He when he came up through the organization, played a little bit in Hershey, so I've seen him from the word go. He's an old school player with a new school vibe. Opposing fans love to hate him. He's a guy that if he's on your team, he will become a fan favorite in a heartbeat. And I am thrilled that they got this deal done, and I look forward to the next 7+ years with Willie here in Washington. But that's going to do it for me. I just want to make sure I got this out to kick off this week. So make sure that you subscribe to the feed if you're not subscribed already, so you do not miss any of our shows. The FKC Fantasy Hour guys will be dropping another episode this week, and actually I think it's this week, the second to last of our preseason or off-season episodes drops for the Huddle Up podcast crew. So make sure you get subscribed. All podcast platforms, YouTube. Follow us on our social media at Huddle Up Podcast so you never miss anything. You can follow me at Big Jim Sports if you want, but make sure you follow the show. Check out our merchandise over there on tpublic.com. And until next time, stay safe, stay smart, and as always, go for the win.